90210. Do you mind if guess we're doing a show on space and comets? By George, we got to, mister. I'm Phil in LA, but you can call me by my call sign, Multiple.
I'm Shashi, still in LA, from Schwa Defense Systems to Star Trek. It's space this week on the Anti-Gravity Room.
Space has fascinated comic book readers, writers, and artists since the very first comic strips. Some of the most popular titles in comics are all about space travel or aliens making contact. From superheroes like Silver Surfer, Superman, and Martian Manhunter, to space travel crews like the crew of the Starship Enterprise. Okay, I'm here with Judy and Gar Reeves Stevens, two huge science fiction writers. Like, they've written everything. What have you guys, first off, what have you guys written?
Star Trek, a lot of Star Trek. We've written 3 Star Trek novels on our own, including Federation, which was the largest selling Star Trek novel yet published.
So how did you get started writing the Star Trek books?
We'd seen the episodes on television, but we never even thought about writing it until we went to New York and saw one of the movies, and we came home and thought, we had some ideas that we would like to write, and we called up and asked if there were Star Trek books, and we didn't even know there were. And they said, yes, there are. Do you have an agent? And we said yes. They said, send us some ideas, and that's how we started.
So what's it like collaborating with William Shatner?
The first meeting, we're sitting there listening to Captain Kirk talk to us, and but after that, he became William Shatner, and Captain Kirk was somebody different.
Except we must confess, we have saved every message that he's ever put on our answering machine.
Star Trek can be found in every entertainment medium. CD-ROMs are no exception. Shashi talked to Denise and Michael Okuda, creators of the Star Trek CD-ROM Omnipedia.
Now establishing data link. Memory Alpha.
We're here with Michael and Denise Okuda. They are the co-authors of the Star Trek Encyclopedia, and they have a CD-ROM that is derived from this book. You know what, I haven't read, or I haven't seen the CD-ROM. I haven't advanced to that level of technology yet, but I have read the book. What's the difference between the CD-ROM and the book?
Well, the CD-ROM takes advantages of the miracles of modern computer technology, whereas for the book you have to thumb through it and you have to look things up, which is fine. But on the CD-ROM, you're reading something, you want to find out more about that, you click on that, and bang, it takes you there. You want to find out more about this, bang, it takes you there.
In 2264, the Enterprise embarked upon a 5-year mission of exploration under the command of Captain James T. Kirk, a voyage that would make both the Enterprise and Kirk into 23rd century legends.
Someone told me that on the CD-ROM, the voice command navigation is really cool. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, the Star Trek Omnipedia incorporates an actual voice command capability. If your PC is properly equipped, you can talk to it, and it will actually respond to your commands.
And also, Majel Barrett does the voice of the voice command for the Omnipedia. She is the computer voice for Star Trek and has been for Next Generation, and so we think that's really special.
Welcome to the Federation Omnipedia Databank.
What made you decide to start to write the Star Trek chronology?
The Star Trek chronology actually was suggested by Gene Roddenberry. He knew that the universe needed a linear track, and he asked Michael to just kind of go through and write down a timeline of the Star Trek universe. One thing led to another, and to our amazement, it all kind of fits together like a puzzle.
Can you tell us about some of the in-jokes in the series?
A show like Star Trek, you occasionally do the in-joke, but you try to make it real small so the audience never sees it. But if you were to go through the quarters of the Enterprise or Voyager or Defiant, and you were to look at some of the little tiny panel labels that are this big on television, you might see it something like, it says, just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of fateful trip.
actually on the set, if you went right very close to that schematic in engineering, you would see that there's a picture of a duck and there's a Porsche, and the real power of the Enterprise is not warp drive, it's a hamster in a wheel which sits right back here, and not many people know that, but it really did exist, and they lived there for all those years.
Do you think that the Star Trek Enterprise will go on forever?
Well, Star Trek's been around for 30 years, and we certainly hope it continues many years to come. I also think that Star Trek is a symbol of hope and optimism that Gene Roddenberry created over 30 years ago, and I think this world sorely needs that type of input.
But there is little doubt that yet another starship will soon become the sixth ship to bear the name, and that it too will carry out Starfleet's mission to explore strange new worlds where no one has gone before.
Please confirm Memory Alpha deactivation request.
All right, it's time for this week's anti-gravitational poll. The question is, do aliens walk among us? You know, I've been abducted once, or twice.
Hey, come on, Phil. This is LA. Everyone's been abducted at least once.
Yeah, friend Sean's an alien. I don't believe there are aliens amongst us. We're trapped on this planet. Nobody gets in and nobody gets out.
I think our friend Sean's an alien. Absolutely. I've been dating one for about 3 weeks, and they're just fantastic. I recommend them. No green card necessary. Definitely aliens all around us.
Yeah, my friend Sean's an alien.
There's one right here.
You should see her in the morning. You'll say yes.
Hey, I'm Sean. Scully and Mulder, I'm ready for you.
In a minute, we're going to see Star Trek technology and my own version of Star Wars. All right, I'm here at Camelot Arcade in Anaheim, California, home of the California Angels. I'm checking out games from outer space. Okay, it's time for this week's Profile, a segment we like to call Draw.
I'm Matt Hawkins. I'm one of the editors here at Extreme Studios. I edit the line of Maximum Press titles, including Evangeline, Battlestar Galactica, Cybrid, Asylum, Christian, Devlin, and quite a few others. A lot of miniseries and different things. I also edit the trading card lines and do a lot of the marketing work here for the studio, working for Rob Liefeld. I went with my nephew to the opening of Mile High Comics here in Anaheim, California. I went down to meet Rob and get a signature for my nephew. And I was so shocked when I got to the signing, and there was a 3-hour line. And I had been talking in line to this guy named Jonathan Sabal, who's one of the premier anchors here at the studio now. And he had his portfolio, and he was so excited to be showing it to Rob, and he was just so into comics, you know. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. These guys are having fun. And when Jonathan got up to the table, he was right in front of me. He showed Rob his portfolio, and Rob took a look at it and said, hey, this is great stuff. You know, nice shaft, nice this, nice that. Get behind the table, you're hired. I was the next guy, and I was like, well, I don't draw, but do you need anybody to write? You know, I'd never written anything in my life. I'm really enjoying a lot of different comics today. I'd say probably one of my favorite writers, and it's ironic that now I get to work with him a little bit, is Alan Moore. I like Neil Gaiman's work, working with, William Messner Loebs is another guy we're working with right now. I've always enjoyed his work. Joe Duffy, Chuck Dixon has always been a staple that I've liked to work with. But on an artistic level, I'll be honest, I like a lot of the Image guys' artwork. They were the guys at the time that I looked at the artwork when I first started, you know, reading and enjoying comics. Everybody bags on me, but my favorite comic is The Spectre. I've always enjoyed John Ostrander's writing, and he's been one of my favorites. I'd say it's kind of an irony, a little poetic justice, but my two favorite movies are Wall Street and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So I mean, there's kind of a strong dichotomy there. You've got Jeff Spicoli on one end and Gordon Gekko on the other.
If you thought the original was good, wait till you see Phil's version of Star Wars.
Okay, I'm here with Paul McGuire, another YTV host and resident Star Wars nerd. We're going to reenact some of our favorite scenes from the Star Wars trilogy, bro.
That's such a popular misconception that people who are into science fiction are nerds.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and the Scott. Take away.
You don't remember the scene?
Test this.
You're part of the Rebel Alliance.
I know, and I remember that scene, but I didn't know if you want to do that one or the one where we're going to test the battle station and see if it's fully operational. Remember that one?
No, we'll do that later.
Okay.
And then he goes, ooh, and he goes, laugh it up, Fuzzball. And then this happens.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and the spy. Take them away.
Is that your favorite scene? Around the Death Star.
Are they on the Death Star?
No, they're not on the Death Star yet. Cut.
No, that's not the sound it makes.
What do you mean? Okay, you do the sound then.
Okay, go.
What land speeder did you ever see that went yigga-doo, yigga-digga-doo, yigga-doo?
Hold it there, brother.
Bad boy, what you gonna do?
They just captured the ship.
Okay, that scene? Or the
And
scene
it's
where...
just after she puts the information in R2.
Oh, okay.
Where's that?
Okay.
All right, Spaghetti Head. It's time for you to Jabba now.
Master, 记住的话，他 Luke Skywalker 找到了 Jedi， 慢慢的把 Jabba。You stupid spaghetti head.
He doesn't speak English either, man.
ลูกตาบ้าผมไหนอ่ะโอ้โหไหนใส่เยอะ
I think you saw a different version of the movie.
Shaka-choo! We got you all clear, kid. Yeah! Take that shot, 1 in a million, kid. Do. And then the Death Star blows out.
It's the Crow. Yes, my secretive sources have informed me that there will not only be a second Crow movie, but there will be a second Crow comic book series. Yes, this comic book series will be drawn by Alex Maleev of Magic the Gathering fame.
Get in this capsule, baby. We are blasting off. Eat orc, that means I love you.
Star Trek has been a part of our lives since its creation. In fact, Star Trek fans helped christen the very first NASA space shuttle, Enterprise. It doesn't stop there. Vital Technologies in Toronto has actually developed a working tricorder. Check this out.
We've been making the tricorder for about a year now.
The tricorder is what you see people pull out on Star Trek when they beam down onto a planet. They pull it out of their pocket. They go, 26 aliens, 10 paces that way, sir. It's used by the science staff, it's used by the engineering staff, and they use it to tell about what's going on around them in scientific terms. It really is the scientist's equivalent to a calculator.
Well, our tricorder came about after we went to a grade 7 science class and did a module on measurement to the kids. They're all measuring one another, started calling the prototype device the tricorder. We approached Paramount, asked if we could license it. They gave us a worldwide exclusive license, and here it is.
The tricorder Mark I does temperature and pressure so that it can forecast weather. It does light and color so that it can look at the colors in the environment around you, and it does electromagnetic fields from power lines and computers and things around you in everyday life. Inside is a computer system and some of the most advanced sensor technology available.
A lot of people think the tricorder is a toy. It's not. It's a scientific instrument, so let's put it to a challenge.
I have a small wall-mount transformer here, which I'm going to hide somewhere in the lab. It emits a powerful electromagnetic field, and I'm going to see if Dave can find it with the tricorder.
So, it can read electromagnetic fields, but can it read color?
I'm sorry, Steve. That tie just doesn't match your suit. Here, try this one.
Hey, Dave, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?
Mostly sunny with periods of scattered cloudiness this afternoon. A high of 4 degrees. Watch out for a low-pressure front of Klingons moving in from the northwest. It could get a little nippy out there. So, Mandy, I'd wear that scarf of yours. The unit on the show is the Mark VII, and when we were looking at designing a tricorder, we felt that it must have come from someplace. It couldn't have just shown up from the vacuum. So we actually looked at what was available today as far as sensing technology and put that into the tricorder as the Mark I.
Well, we're going to reach the Mark VII sometime in the next 300 years. As head of research, all I can tell you is I think it's going to be sooner than later.
We're looking at integrating all kinds of new sensors as they become available into this unit. Things that will give you the ability to detect radiation, things that can tell you what gases you're breathing, how many microwaves you're being exposed to from communications and so on, and also things like looking at safety of food, whether or not it's safe to eat.
The tricorder is about having fun with science. You can grab a tricorder and find out where science fiction meets science fact.
Don't move. We're going to show you how to defend yourself from aliens. Ha! Oh! Oh! And then a quick trip to the doctor. Ah!
We asked the question, Doctor Who? These guys had the answer. Hello.
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. My name is Colleen Hillerup, and I'm the president of the Doctor Who Information Network. The Doctor Who Information Network was founded in 1980, and believe it or not, there are still some original members around. People in the fan club are called Whovians, just like Doctor Who fans in general would be called Whovians. Doctor Who first aired November 23rd, 1963 in England. 7 different actors have played the Doctor because the Doctor is a Time Lord from Gallifrey, an alien being who can regenerate at the point of death. Through the course of his adventures, he's met the evil, universe-conquering Daleks. At one point, he even traveled with a robot dog named K9. We now travel to the present, where Doctor Who is the longest-running science fiction series in television history. They've just started work on a new made-for-TV Doctor Who movie, and so an 8th Doctor will now step into the TARDIS. I think you can see some influence of Doctor Who in the Star Wars movies, which, of course, were also filmed in England. R2-D2 looks a bit like a Dalek. We now step out of the space-time continuum so I can show you a few items from the Doctor Who Information Network and Doctor Who fandom. I'd like to show you some interesting paraphernalia from the Doctor Who world. This is, of course, the most essential item. It's the Enlightenment, the newzine. It's a news fanzine of the Doctor Who Information Network, Doctor Who novels. For years, they've been publishing Doctor Who novelizations of different TV episodes, but these are original novels that they've come up with more recently. The New Adventures, the stories of Sylvester McCoy's Doctor, and they just keep going on. And more recently, The Missing Adventures, featuring the other 6 Doctors that have appeared in the series. And, of course, Doctor Who in the comics. Doctor Who has appeared. These are North American publications with the Doctor. And these are the British Doctor Who collector cards. And for people that want to make Doctor Who stuff at home, it's the Doctor Who pattern book.
And now, modeling the scarf from the new autumn line of Doctor Who fashion wear, Miss Colleen Hillerup.
No fan should be without. And if you don't want to spend that long knitting, how about just making yourself a little Tom Baker doll? You can play with your very own Doctor Who stuff at home.
No food, no water. What comics would you like on a desert island?
I would bring The Incredible Hulk. I would bring Ghost Rider. I would bring The Uncanny X-Men. I would bring, Daredevil. And...
Want to know how to stop aliens from abducting your loved ones and pets? Then Schwa Defense Systems is worth checking into. What is Schwa all about?
I can't answer that.
How do you get involved with Schwa?
No comment.
Are there really aliens among us?
As a result of aliens monitoring my brainwaves, I cannot answer that question.
Schwa is essentially the only bureau organized to defend the Earth against aliens. They do this through the use of stickers, shirts, and posters. Anyone interested in defending themselves from aliens should look into Schwa. Contact Schwa, that's SCHWA, at Box 6064, Reno, Nevada, 89513.
Aliens aren't the only ones sending us signals. Carolyn Gilchrist's emails A bunch of my friends and I want to give you a dare. We dare you to cut your hair on national TV. Well, I can't accept that dare. You know why? I don't want to cut my hair. I'm too scared.
And Green Team asks, to Shashi, how come in the opening credits, Nick and Phil have their names on their hands, but you have Anti-Gravity written on yours? Well, that's because when we shot the opening credits, my mother, she hadn't named me yet. But Green Team, this is just for you. Keep sending us your thoughts, likes, dislikes. And hey, if you have any good recipes, send those too.
You can call or you can email us at antigravity@ytv.ca or write to us at the Anti-Gravity Room, care of YTV Canada, 64 Jefferson Avenue, Unit 18, Toronto, Canada, M6K 3H3. Have you checked out our new website? It is at http://www.com//.
After this, hey, what's that light do?
As you might have noticed, Shashi was abducted. Oh! Schwa, the best defense is a good offense.
Come on, Phil. Relax. I've been abducted 3 or 4 times now. I live in LA. You get used to it.
Kind of like us Canadians getting used to all the Sasquatch. Check us out next time for Heaven and Hell, Genesis and Apocalypse, the end and the beginning, all in one episode. See you next time on the Anti-Gravity. Woo!